And there it is. So I'll kind of go back and forth. I will start sharing experiences, then we can share any insights, any inputs from the practice, and then we'll go back to the book. And then after that, we can uh, do a meditation and share more. But one thing I notice for me, it is different every day. I'm trying to do as much as I can, trying to do every day. And two things I notice. One, it is very different. Like sometimes it's intense, sometimes it's soft, like nothing happened. So I can get a very broad spectrum. Sometimes I'm gonna have visuals, and sometimes can be very intense. And the second thing I noticed, for whatever reason, it is stronger when I do that in group. Sometimes I did for me and Catchy, and I was guiding the meditation, and I felt those times were stronger than the times I tried to do by myself. Yeah, I will start there, and I'll pause to ask you guys if you guys tried to do the guided meditation this week, and if you did, how was it for you?
For me, I listened to the recording from last week, and I was just trying to do that. And I had something similar to when you introduced us to that in the last ceremony we did in July. Um, that I am imagining uh, both. I'm visualizing both as I'm sitting, and um, it's like I can't sometimes, like, as much as I try to just imagine that steady rotation like this, um, the points are just like spinning around, um, and in this larger ball of like golden light around me, and it uh, and then sometimes I'm like, okay, control it, stop it, just make it go like this, and just make it, like, just be plain. And I just um it feels like it's easier for me to just meditate in that space if I don't focus on trying to control it. And so um yeah, it just kind of like spins all over the place.
Yeah, that's kind of the natural. Is that the natural for you? That's what I'm getting like.
At first it feels like it is. And then when I try to control it, and then it feels like I'm trying to force it. And then when I don't try to force that, and then I almost feel like it tilts to the left, and I can see like the point here, like going this way.
Yeah,
And then the points are just like spinning all over.
interesting. Yeah, I would suggest, Pablo, that you try both ways, maybe alternating, like one, you try to stick to the practice and kind of force with your mind, using more the male side, and then you take turns with the left side being more receptive and allowing whatever that happens to happen. If it's spinning like with a different axis, you surrender to that and see how that plays with your field, and then keep noticing how that exercise is playing with your energetic body.
I will, and I also bought some graph paper too, because really is like what he says in the book. Just drawing it um, just helps you focus more and understand more of. I mean, just drawing it is feels
Absolutely.
like it's another component of the meditation too, and I'm excited to get that graph paper here to just being able to just focus on the lines and focus on really just visualizing that. And I know that drawing that for me is going to be very helpful.
Absolutely. Elijah, you were not with us last week. I don't know if you tried to do it yet or not, or if this week will be the first time.
No, yeah, I've tried to do it a couple of times.
Okay.
It's much different than like my normal types of meditation, So it's really challenging, a lot of coordination and things.
Yeah.
But so I mean, I really didn't have much, I guess, if you want to call it success, doing it that way. So I did kind of like incorporate it into my normal meditation, and it's getting like, I don't know. You hate to say results, or you know what I mean, but you know, I can get pretty far with it. It's just maintaining. You got to maintain concentration, right? That's the hard part when things start really moving.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he kind of he's kept a couple of skills that we would need to do that well. And yeah, you said it very well. Concentration is a gigantic part of that. Being able to focus all the time in the same thing. So for those of us that already meditate, can be a little easier. But if you don't meditate, it can be tricky
Yeah.
because we're actually doing two skill. We're using two skills. We're using visualization and concentration, right? So we're using that with all of the coordination that we have for the all of the breaths. So it's definitely something to coordinate.
See, so like the way I guess the way I kind of practice is like surrender and concentration with intention. Like, so I don't visualize it really, but I intend to see it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then it just comes.
Interesting.
Yeah. And concentration is still not the right word, because it's like it's not an efforted concentration, right? It's like a non-doing concentration. I don't know.
Yeah, I see what you're saying though.
But that's it. That comes more natural to me than saw the breath, and you know what I mean. So
because you have both aspects there, right? Because you're not forcing, but you it's kind of you are forcing in a way because you want to see the Merkaba, but you also want to be open to receive whatever else is coming with it.
Because
so that's the midpoint of using like male and female,
Yeah, because it's not it's like before the thought of intention. It's that there's a subtle thing before it that you nudge, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's a very good point. In the Rosicrucian tradition, when we do a ritual or a majestic act, we take the meditation, we concentrate, we put the intention in a strong concentration, and after that, we stop and we just receive whatever's coming. I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Because, we use the male, the projection, the consciousness, like a follow, right, in a straight line. But at some point, we need to surrender and receive it back. So that's like applying the knowledge that we got from the book and using female and male. So we project that with a male consciousness with a clear intention, but then we surrender and we open ourselves to receive what's coming back from that first intention.
Yeah. And that is like the key to wherever you want. It doesn't have to be the Merkaba. It can be as high as you want to go. You know what I mean? It's pretty wild.
Well said. Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Elijah.
Yeah, thank you.
What about you, Kathy? Did you try to do the Merkaba meditation this week?
I was bad. I did not. I didn't even really think about it during the week. So it was just a long week. So I really haven't practiced. But I really like what you just said, because I think that really, and what Elijah just said, it really is how meditation works. You start with that intention and some focus, and then you let go and you receive. And that is just a beautiful reminder. Thank you.
It is. Yeah, no worries about not practicing because we're gonna do that together tonight.
Awesome.
And how was it for you, Katya?
So I just tried a few, and it's always put me to sleep. Like I have to go to sleep after. But it's really strong. I think it's sometimes it's more softer, but it's usually I feel the energy and I feel really calm.
Yeah.
And like present, help me to be more present the moment.
Nice. Yeah, that first day we did it together, I think I have never had so many visuals with the Merkaba meditation like that day. I start seeing Egyptian gods and battles. It was so much information, so much fast. It was pretty intense. I never had so much visuals with the Merkaba meditation like that night. But at the same time, I didn't feel the energy as intense as I already feel, or as I already felt before. It was a different experience there for sure.
And the night I felt the Merkaba like a vehicle. Like I felt like that. Like okay, I'm in a ship or I'm in a spaceship and I'm ready to go to use this vehicle. It was the first time that I actually saw as a vehicle to go to, I don't know, another dimensions or
Interesting.
It's really cool.
And I didn't ask you, Mandy.
Yeah, I missed the call last week because of work, and I didn't have the chance to listen to it. So I haven't had a chance to do it other than when we did it at the ceremony in July or August, whenever it was.
No worries. We're gonna do it together today. And that's beautiful. Beautiful insights. And I will kind of go quickly through the topics and we can share about it before doing the Merkaba meditation. This chapter for me was much funnier to practice than to read. I did all of the drawings that he put there, and it was really fun to do squares and circles, squares and circles. It's kind of it's a meditation by itself. But he goes back to the concept of 3 levels of consciousness, where the first one is the altogether the Aboriginal consciousness. The second one is our consciousness separated, and then the third level is the Christic consciousness. And he explains the third system that we were born from the fruit of life, which is the square and the circles. And even Drunvalo says that we can get a portion of the knowledge reading the book, but you can get even more drawing. And I mean, I already had that in my mind, but this chapter was, it was like it was crystal clear that because I was reading and I don't know, I was reading so slow because I was having a hard time to absorb that and say, you know what, I'll stop reading. I would just look at the images and I would draw what I'm seeing here and I will read that after. And it worked much better. I stopped just to do the drawings, to do that one step by step. And then when I came back to read, it was making sense. So he stopped to say that, and this one I think was, it was really true for me for this chapter. So he will relate just a concept. What he's calling the phi ratio between the circle and the square is when the perimeter is getting very close to the circumference. That's what he's calling the phi ratio. And then I put in a spreadsheet. So this one, when the fourth square with the fifth circle, it gets super close. And then this one is gonna call the 810 consciousness. And then the next one, let me hide all of this because we don't need this. And then the next one is the 1318, the third level of consciousness, 56, and a little bit. So he mentioned it almost a golden ratio. It's getting close to the phi relationship. But I didn't fully understand why he's saying phi ratio, while the relationship we have between those two geometries are actually one, but he's referring as phi ratio. I don't know if you guys got a different understanding, but for me, it's just a terminology he was using because I couldn't get any more information than that. I even tried to make some math to find the number, but actually it's just getting closer to the same number. And then the second level of consciousness, it is not there. We need to do something. And then thought to him, because it looks like they took like thousands of years to receive. And then we need to rotate 1, 2, 3, 4. The fifth square, 45 degrees. So it gets very close to this circle, or actually to this square, and this square is the square of the third level of consciousness. It is so abstract, so subjective, but it's like consciousness is trying to do something to reach the next level. So what it does is to rotate. And he also says the level we are right now, it is unstable. It made me think about the Merkaba, like, okay, we are here. We don't know how to get to the next level, and then we rotate. What else rotates? Merkaba. Kind of almost like that is a key. Acknowledging that other body around us that rotates could be a key to achieve the next level of consciousness.
What does rotate consciousness mean to you?
For me, it means look from a different perspective. Again, I'm getting just more abstract, but it's really what it is to me.
That makes more sense to me too. Okay.
And then here again, when I was reading this, I was having a hard time. So he tried to put the first level of consciousness in the fruit of life, and then we can see that exactly when the flower of life finishes, the consciousness begins. Like now there is a container for the consciousness to habitat that vessel. So when the fruit of life finishes, we can have the first level of consciousness. And is my understanding, my reading of this is that now we can go from one level that is everything contained to a level that is manifested. We have that vessel. So spirit found the first level, or the incarnated beings that are ready to receive the spirit. That's how I'm understanding this movement of consciousness. This one is just to do the canon. Oh yeah, and then he will relate 3 artists with the 3 levels of consciousness. So we're gonna have the first level of consciousness found in drawings from Leonardo, the second level of consciousness related to Vitruvio, and then finally Pythagoras with the Christed consciousness. And I didn't even know that, or I didn't remember that Leonardo had so many drawings from the Flower of Life. It's like reading the first time. I read this book like 5 years ago, and I'm reading it again now, and looks like it's a different book. And he also breaks that in the 22 levels of consciousness that other girl found, and he related that to the Karnak temple. This is intense. This one here is intense. So those 22 steps, they're also the 22 cards of the tarot, and he's gonna relate the 22 steps again with the level of consciousness. He's gonna say what is it? 17, 18, and 21 are the most important ones. And then for some reason, as soon as I saw the 22, the tarot came in my mind, and then I went to the tarot to see what those numbers would mean, and they are all related to astro. So we have the moon, we have the sun, and we have the earth on those numbers he mentioned. Trying to find my notes here. Sorry, guys. Yeah, 18 moon, 19 sun, and 21 the earth. And he relates this with the initiatic path in Karnak. We've been in Karnak, and there is really like an initiatic path through the temple relating to the body. And this is another fractal. We have talked about fractals and how the consciousness repeats itself to create something. And we have our bodies. I have heard Matthias saying that more than once, that it is true difficult to understand the universe, but if you understand your own body, you can understand the universe way better, way easier. And the Egyptians were doing that with the Karnak temple. They already had a very advanced level, at least in the mystic schools, they had a very deep knowledge on the human body, the levels of consciousness, and how that's related to spirituality. And then he closes the chapter talking about the initiation in the pyramid and how the 3 levels of consciousness were used or were understood in that initiation as you went to the lower chamber, then to understand the first level, then the king's chamber, so you could reach the 3rd level of consciousness, then going back to the queen's chamber, so you could anchor the 3rd level of consciousness in the 2nd level of consciousness or in the daily life. And it's funny because synchronicity is working very well. For whatever reason, I felt like watching Initiation again. Then we were rewatching Initiation, and we start from the 3rd season, and the first episode talks exactly about how the Atlantean, would do the initiation in the pyramid, and how they would understand the portals of time and use the portals of time to manifest what was in the spiritual realm. So Drunvalo will talk about the initiation in the pyramid and how they were going to the third level of consciousness. Matthias will talk about how Atlanteans were doing that through the same initiation in the pyramid. I highly recommend you guys watching that to have like a different perspective of the initiation, but it relates in a very nice way, and it is intense. Matthias didn't describe all of the 33 tasks. He just mentioned that the pyramid was the last step of the initiation, and before that, the Idilians or the priests or the priests or the mages from Atlantis, they would go through 33 steps of initiation, and that one would be the last one where they unfold this portal and they learn how to be God on earth, opening portals through time to manifest things on earth. So the pyramid is, man, it's quite a tool. All right, those are my insights from this book. I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts, insights, questions.
Have you heard of the Sri Yantra? It's it's a Hindu symbol. And that second one, second consciousness, that reminds me of that symbol, which
What
I
is the
think
name
is
again,
also
Kathy?
the Sri Yantra.
Sri, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think it actually comes from like the flower of life too, somehow.
It might be, yeah. And I believe the Hindus say it's about symbolizing consciousness and
Mhm.
the feminine and the masculine. So I mean, it really looked familiar to me when I saw that. I was like, oh yeah, that looks. I'm not sure, but it looks really similar to what the Sri Yantra is. But very cool. Anyway.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up, Kathy. The Triantra. I told Pablo that. I didn't know the name. I talked to Pablo. He was the first one to mention that to me. And it's happening. It's popping up again. I do need to dive into that.
Yeah, there it is.
Look at that.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Kathy. All right. Any other thoughts or comments, guys? If not, we're gonna medical.
My only comment is what you mentioned before about why he uses the phi ratio or the golden ratio so much. And I think it's, at least for me, I think it's just a way into it for many of us, you know. If you want to approach the phi ratio from mathematics or from just how we see things in nature, I think it's just a way to practice the truth of this with something that we are able to relate in a different way, you know. Just that idea of like when we're kids in school talking about, well, why do I study algebra? Why do I study calculus? I'm never going to need this. And I think it's just because we call it the wrong thing. You know, we're not learning calculus or algebra. We're learning how to solve problems, you know. Yeah. Sometimes it's just about showing our work and how we figure out these equations for things. And I think, you know, for me in some ways, like Drunvalo used that just as a clue to be grounded into something we think we know from, you know, like our material knowledge or whatever, but to be able to use that to ground that into something that we can continue to expand and try on, because then he goes on to talk about go draw this stuff, right? And so I hope he mentioned that just as a way to help us remember that there are some things that the ancients understood, but we can understand now, even if we don't understand some of the more complex math that can go into some of these things. But it's like okay, you know this, trust this, and then just practice the other stuff for yourself.
Yeah. No, great comment. And yeah, I agree with you. More to ground that concept than really like showing in black and white. That was a beautiful comment. Thank you for that, Pablo. And before I forget, Pablo, I have that occult anatomy in front of me. And since I'm gonna stop doing the triangle meditation, I just wanna bring that to you. But we were doing the triangle with the three spheres, right? And that's Keter, Shakma, and Binah. So if you look to the occult anatomy, we were anchoring the Sephira from the Tree of Life on us this whole time. And other day I was looking at this and oh yeah, I'm doing that actually. A piece of the flower of life, right? And the whole meditation actually is with all of the Sephira, but I was doing this short version with just the three. And looking, yeah, I was looking in the occult anatomy. Oh yeah, they're exactly in the place. But of course, just a little something for you, Pablo. When you look to the occult anatomy, right? So let's do some meditation, guys.
Yeah.
I will try to go slower than last time. Oh, go ahead, Kathy. Sorry.
No, I was just agreeing. Let's do it.
Okay. So I'll try to go a little slower than last time, and I will close my eyes and I'll flow with you. I will try to, I'll put the intention and I will receive more. So forgive me if I do one or two step wrong. But I want this meditation to be as natural as possible. I want us flowing through the Merkaba, receiving that energy, and I will do that in a more relaxed way than I did last time. So I will invite you all to close your eyes. Breathe in deeply and breathe out. Move your spine forward and backward, to the right and to the left. You can even rotate a little bit until you find your axis. Breathe in deeply. Give the intention to be present, to have your whole consciousness in this moment. Keep breathing. And with that clear mind, let's invite our higher selves to take over. Let's give our hands, hold their hands, so they can show us the way. Feel the love, how you are loved, how your higher self, the Great Spirit, love you unconditionally. Let's honor the earth and feel her field around us. Honoring the mother and receiving her love, her pure love. Honoring the mother, honoring the father. We invite our guides to be here with us, to protect us, and to show their love and support. Breathe in deeply and feel how loved you are. All of the care those beings have for you. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Keep breathing. In a minute, we're going to start the Merkaba breaths. And when I say golden tetrahedron, you're going to inhale, visualizing the male tetrahedron, honoring the father. And when I say earth tetrahedron, you're going to breathe out, honoring the mother, visualizing the tetrahedron pointing down and the Rupal's energy. Breathe in deeply. And relax. There is no right or wrong. Hear these words, but allow your higher self to lead the way. Feel what is right to do and surrender to this energy, to this flow. So breathe in the last time. Out and first breath, first mudra, golden tetrahedron. Earth tetrahedron. Second breath, second mudra, golden tetrahedron. Earth tetrahedron. Pulse. Third breath, third mudra, golden tetrahedron. Earth tetrahedron. Pulse. Fourth breath, fourth mudra, golden tetrahedron. Earth tetrahedron. Pulse. Fifth breath. First mudra. Golden tetrahedron. Earth tetrahedron. Pulse. Sixth breath. Second mudra. Golden tetrahedron. Earth tetrahedron. Seventh breath. Fifth mudra. Visualize the pranic tube of energy going from the center of the earth to the center of the universe, flowing through yourself, through your spine. As it reaches you, a sphere of white energy forms in your solar plexus. Eighth breath. Feel that sphere of energy growing larger and larger. Ninth breath. Feel the pranic energy and how you radiate energy from your center to the earth and to the center of the universe. You became a pillar of light between heaven and earth. Tenth breath. Now the sphere of light is surrounding you, around your body, while you still have another sphere of light in your solar plexus. The color changes from white to golden. Allow yourself to feel this energy. 11th breath. Feel this golden energy and how it became a channel of energy from the earth and from the heavens. 12th breath. Feel the unconditional love from the Mother Earth and from the Great Spirit Father reaching you right now. 13th breath. The sphere of light moves from the solar chakra to the heart center. Feel the unconditional love. You are the unconditional love. 14th breath. 6th mudra. Visualize the Merkaba around you, the golden tetrahedron and the earth tetrahedron. 1, the golden spins to the left, while the female, the earth, spins to the right. The third one remains fixed, equal speed. Fifteenth breath. 34, 21. 16th breath, 9/10 of the speed of light. Now put yourself in a receptive state and get in contact with your higher self. Breathe in deeply. And again. Start getting aware of your body. Move your feet, your fingers. Move your body slowly. And before we open our eyes, let's express gratitude. Let's thank Mother Earth. Let's thank the Great Spirit and our guides for being here with us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
It's good.
Roll with me. Everybody back on Earth. Yeah, you're touching your third eye, Elijah. This sometimes it gets stronger here, and this time I felt like my third eye would physically open.
Yeah, mine's going. They're like pulsing bad right now.
Does anyone want to share anything, any insights, or?
Yeah, I mean that felt a lot more natural than the previous times I've tried it for sure, and yeah, it's powerful for sure.
I feel the same way. It felt much more natural and at ease with it. I did have to really concentrate and put my attention on what I was doing in the beginning. And then when you said be receptive, it just, it was like I didn't want to stop actually. So I didn't really feel a lot of sensation this time, but I did feel peacefulness. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you, Katja.
Yeah, for me, it was interesting how switching on in breath to out breath, visualizing the male and then to the female triangles, that like really getting in the rhythm and the flow of that, it like immediately started the circular rotation pattern for me, which I guess is the female, right? That it was like that being in that flow of visualizing the male triangle up, the female down, that it just immediately like brought that on and just like opened up that rhythm for me. It was really, really wonderful.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
What Elijah said at the beginning of the call really helped me. The words that came to me when Elijah was sharing how he was starting his practice to meditate, to me, what came to mind was effortless focus. Just focusing effortlessly. It's just a natural thing that just comes to you, and that was my intention with this today. And what Mandy was saying, as you can, for me, visualizing one tetrahedron and the other, as they started going, it's almost like I could feel like the wind of them rotating just like in my face. That was really, really wonderful. And yeah, just seeing you tap your forehead, to me, I was like, it just feels so good and so energetic, and just kind of just Yeah, I don't know. I have to say this word in Portuguese because I can't think of the word in English, but just like uma energia pipocando aqui na minha testa, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just really wonderful. So thank you for sharing that earlier, Elijah. It was really helpful to me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for sharing. That's awesome.
Is he gonna put you to sleep?
No, I don't know why, but I start to cry like when I start to like
Just crying.
there's a tears. I don't know. I was not sad, but just crying.
What about you, Maya? I was asking Myron. What about
your eyes start to like.
Oh yeah, all the time. But, yeah.
True. Well, I think that's it. We can go to sleep in a very good mood, in peace, and knowing that we are deeply loved. So, see you guys next week.
See you guys.
Thank you so much. Very
Yeah.
nice. Thank you.
Night, thank you.
Good night.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Love you.
See you.
Mhm.
Have a good night.